All right, well, let's go ahead and jump right in. I want to invite all of you guys to make sure you turn off your cell phones, focus on taking notes. And in this list of 20, this checklist that we're going to present to you, we are filming this right now, and the replay will be available for you guys to, jump in and review later. But as we're doing this live with you, I don't necessarily want you to try to remember everything we're talking about, but instead write down notes of things that you need to start doing that you might not currently be implementing in your business and life. All right, so let's go ahead and start with number 1.
Yes, so number 1 on here, we need to make sure that you guys are repping your brand. So again, just to kind of paint this beautiful picture, this list of things that we're going to share with you some of them are going to be like really small little details, and some of them are going to be like bigger, like, oh, I really need to step that up. But understanding that you need to look the part as the CEO, right? You need to look the part as the owner. So showing up in a clean, crisp, fresh uniform, you got the lanyard on, you look the part, right? Because your standard, like your visual standard, becomes the standard for your team.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we have to understand about psychology is nobody likes to be a hypocrite. So if you're showing up out of uniform, it is going to cause you to hold back and not acknowledge if one of your team members does not show up in proper uniform. And remember, silence is acceptance. That's one of the core rules that we teach here at Success Team. Silence is acceptance. So whatever you tolerate becomes the new standard, and then it spreads to the rest of your team. Number 2.
Be energized and be early. Like when you have the standard of this is what time we're going to show up, you're the first one there. Right. And if you have a team member that gets there before you, awesome. Give them a high five and be like, you beat me. But your energy is going to be matched. One of the things that Duane had talked about before, and I think we did this actually in a sales training, and it was talking about you kind of have to be a little bit crazy, like a little bit, because if your energy as a CEO is up here, then fantastic. Your team is at least going to make it to here. But if you show up and your energy is like, meh, then your team is going to show up like, meh.
Exactly. It's like kind of that Eeyore effect that was talked about last week, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that we always have to be mindful of is that there's a mirror image of energy. And for those of you who have personally taught any type of sport to children, many of you teach martial arts to kids, and if you're like me, if you show up with low energy, then the class is going to be pulled down. If you show up with high energy, they're going to step up and meet you there, right? So we have to do that. And one of the things that really stood out, and I'll make this quick, is there was a Diamond member that we had, not somebody that's current. This was back from like 2017. We're going back quite a while. And when I was doing the Diamond school visit, one of the things that I look for is how the CEO, how the owner interacts with the team. And I literally remember watching this person sit there. They were playing on their phone. They weren't acknowledging as anybody was walking in and out of the door. And these are his team members. These are the most important people that help the operations of the business. So you have to make sure that your team is treated as priority level 1. Write that in your notes. Treat your team as the most important part of your business, because without your team, your business is going to be really small. You don't have the ability to run this entire enterprise by yourself. So you need to build them up, and it starts with your energy. All right, number 3. We're moving quickly on these. We've got 20. Here we go. Number 3.
So number 3 is making sure that your personal brand is on point with your brand as your business, right? So making sure that when you're talking about like your social media, you're not going on social media and posting about all of your opinions on things. You're not going on there and posting anything that's negative. You're on there and you are showcasing how you're a community leader. You're showcasing how you are a family person. You're showcasing, some of the imperfect moments of your life. Maybe you have like your kids decide to bake something in the kitchen and they make this big mess, and it's like, okay, cool, life isn't perfect, but it's funny, it's cute, it's engaging. So those are the types of things that you want to post. We're not going on there to post you out partying and drinking or just...
And just as a general rule of thumb, you have to have discernment. We were at church yesterday or 2 days ago, and the pastor was talking about discernment. And one of the most powerful things you can do is just shut your mouth.
Yep.
You can just literally have that wisdom to not have to talk. And it goes along the lines of social media as well, where, if you're posting things like Lauren just described, you're sharing family moments, or you're promoting your business, or you're promoting you or your team's accomplishments, those are adding value to the people that are reading those posts.
Yes.
But if you feel like you have to jump into, I talked about this yesterday a bit, it's like you don't have to show up to every argument that you were invited to.
Right.
And people on social media love to argue. You guys see that every single day. And that's one of the cons of social media. But if you want to make millions of dollars online, add value and watch what happens. All right, number 4, speaking of social media, here we go. Link your business socials to your personal profile. There's so many of you right now that if I go to your Facebook page or Instagram page or whatever, there's going to be no mention of the fact that you're doing after school, summer camp, martial arts, dance, etc. You have to be the business owner for your brand. You have to be the person that has the best programs. And when people have the best programs, they love to talk about it. So that's one thing to put in your notes right now is visit your Facebook page, visit your Instagram page. Do you have your job title on there as CEO and owner or founder of your programs? If not, then get them up there.
Programs.
Yes, do them all.
There was an S that was at the end, not just one, not just, I love you guys, not just your martial arts school. Stop it. Put your summer camp and after school business on there. Love you guys.
Yeah,
Okay,
think about that. Right? Price per student for an after school and summer camp program far outweighs the price per student for an evening program. Always remember that. You got to promote that too.
Yes. All right. Next up, number 5, post weekly highlights. Okay. So these are going to be like you sharing behind the scenes moments. These are going to be shout outs for your team, upcoming exciting summer camp and after school program announcements. Just basically anything that's positive that's going on needs to go not only on your personal profiles, but put them on the business side as well. So this is sort of an intertwined type post.
Yep.
If a team member does something awesome, let's say that they graduated from college, or they ran a marathon, or they placed second at a spelling bee, like whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. Acknowledge them on your personal profile that shows that you care about your team. Acknowledge them on your business profiles as well. So you're getting to show them off, but have these like highlights, these awesome things that have happened.
And one thing to keep in mind as well, my friends, is that Facebook doesn't necessarily show your Facebook business page to everybody.
Correct.
So a lot of you are getting stuck in this mindset that as long as I'm promoting on my business page, everybody in the world is going to know. And that's not the case. You have to do that because people will use your Facebook business page as a way to do research about your company, but you also have to be mindful that you are part of your brand. You are a community leader. What happens is now, because we teach you to become friends with all of the PTA moms, the PTO moms, the administrative staff at all the elementary schools, including the assistant principals and the guidance counselors. Now, those people are seeing these types of celebratory posts that are super positive, and it shows that you're doing big things in your business. That's what helps you stay on the top of their mind. So you have to leverage your personal profile. All right. Another one here, number 6, is personally acknowledge your staff weekly. Your team is so important. So this could be as simple as sending them a direct message, an unexpected text. Lauren put on here sticky notes.
I used to love to do that.
Yeah.
I would do that on like Tori's computer, and the HQ would go and stick one on like her computer screen and be like, "You're awesome."
Yeah, we had a sticky note budget between Lauren
Sydney.
and Sydney.
Sydney was the sticky note.
You would
queen.
walk into Sydney's office and just see like 1,000 sticky notes. That was her thing.
Yes, if you ever need a gift idea for Sydney,
Just get her
some Post-its.
Just send them straight to her house. Here's the thing. You want to let your team members know that they are seen,
yes,
that they are heard, and that they're appreciated. And it's so easy to do that. All right, cool. Number 7,
Number 7, lead at least one team training per month.
Now, before you get into that,
Yes.
just keep in mind, my friends, that a lot of you, especially if you're like in your first 2 or 3 years with us, your 4th year, you're going to be hosting all of your team trainings.
Correct.
So we're kind of talking more towards like the 5th year members and up.
Yep. So when you're looking at because we're going to share this document with you guys, but when you're looking at this, there's going to be an acknowledgement that's on there. Like if you're already doing that, you're already the one that's hosting those team trainings, then fantastic. You can check the box, right? But if you are, in a position where you have a team where your director or your regional director is the one that is hosting these team trainings, once a month, go in and you don't have to host the whole thing, but at least be a part of it so that you have that opportunity to acknowledge the people that have been leading those trainings.
A lot of people make the mistake as they get into like the senior level of leadership where they just stop showing up. Like they trust their team so much that they just stop showing their face altogether. Mm-hmm. And then that doesn't do well.
Right.
So stay involved. All right. Number 8, write down the word pulse, P-U-L-S-E, pulse. Have a pulse system in place. And we're not talking about taking your own pulse, even though that's important. But what we are referencing is that you want to read your debrief forums every single day. You need to know what's going on in your business, even when you're not there. And that's what I love about the systems that we teach here at STC, is that we are providing you and encouraging you to create an autonomous business. Because once you have one location that's running with a team, without your direct daily involvement, and you're able to watch the camera footage, you're able to look at the daily debriefs, and you're able to literally get a grasp of how the business is doing when you're not there, and you see it growing without your direct involvement, that's when you know that you can expand into location number 2, and number 3, and so forth and so on. But I will say this, if you have to be there every single day and everything depends on you, everything revolves around you, expansion is not on the menu for you just yet. So be very mindful of that.
Not yet, but actually speaking of that is making sure that you're still following the system. So just kind of like the last one we talked about, where if you're the one that's hosting the team trainings, you can already check the box. With this one, we have the director's debrief form. If you're acting director, you still have to fill out that debrief form. But why, Lauren? Why do we have to still fill it out? Because you are eventually going to have a director that's in that position. And if you are learning the role and you are practicing the role and you skip this part, you know what you're going to do during the training process? You're going to skip that part.
Well, here, let's keep it simple. The people in Success Team right now who have the best teams are the leaders who watched our courses, passed the final exam, they know the system well, and they feel confident and encouraging when they hire somebody and they train them.
Yep.
The people who struggle with their teams, chronically struggle with their teams, they watched like version 1 of our course from 2015. They haven't even watched the newest version, right? And again, kind of giving a cross comparison. The people that are doing the best, they watch the courses at least once a year.
Yep.
They're staying fresh, they're staying sharp, and that confidence exudes when you go to hire new people. What I think Eric Myers posted here a little bit earlier in the chat section that, rock stars, like they can see right through things, right? If you go to hire a rock star and they can tell that you have no idea what you're doing as an owner, let me tell you what, they're not going to be staying on your team that long. Rock stars want to be on a winning team. So if you're losing rock stars, look in the mirror and ask yourself, how can you step up with your confidence level in the system? So important. All right. Number 9.
Number 9 is this one's an easy one. Just surprise your team occasionally. A coffee run. That can go a long way. Or just even like a little handwritten note, kind of how we were talking about, like with Post-its and just leaving little things for them. The occasional, hey, I was thinking about you. Hey, I care about you. And I just am surprising you. Obviously, we teach in the system, your weekly team training is to bring them food, right? We're talking about one step up in that. So if you know that they love some Starbucks and you're like, hey, you know what? I got this for you. That goes a long way.
Yep. There's a great book that I want you guys to write down. It's called Giftology. Giftology. It's a great book on giving gifts and the power that falls behind that. So check out that book. All right, let's go on to number 10, right? Number 10, reiterate your vision often. If you guys want to write down the words, be a cheerleader, you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be the person that bleeds, green and blue for your business. Some of you might still be bleeding red and black and dragons because you guys love your red walls. Paint them blue and watch what happens in your phoenixes. No, we love you guys, but we do also know that the brand becomes more modern when you change the colors. 1995 wants the red walls back. All right. So when we talk about reiterating the vision often, you have to share why we do what we do, right? In every team training, anytime that you're talking with parents, anytime you're talking with senior, martial arts students that you have in your group that are leaders, you have to share your vision of why we do what we do. It's about changing lives. You have to get the kids, the students, the team, just literally everybody that's around you in your environment fired up, inspired, motivated to go bigger. You have a weekly opportunity to do this with team trainings. So where people mess up is they go, hey guys, thanks for showing up on time to the team training. Here's the 3 to 5 bullet points that we're going to talk about today. Can I have some 1% improvements? Okay, great. See you later. Share about your vision. Why are we doing this? Go back to the early days and talk about why you decided to step forward and play a powerful game, why it's important for kids' lives to be changed. How come you didn't just crash and burn during COVID, but instead you dug deeper, held your line, and grew your business? Like, we have to remember those stories. So don't let those disappear. All right, number 11. Number 11,
create a weekly 1-minute video. And this is something that you're going to just send to your team, right? It can be, quick updates or some encouragement. You don't think too much of it. If you just send them like a quick, hey guys, it's Lauren here, obviously, right? Because you guys know me. Hey guys, just wanted to send you guys a quick video, just let you know that I'm so thankful that all of you are on the team. You guys crushed it this week. I'm really looking forward to next week. Don't forget, we have our snack of the week, which is going to be whatever. Keep up the great work. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Simple.
I love it.
Just send it.
I love it. Number 12, write this down. Meet with your key leaders. These are your program directors, your regional directors, admins, head instructors, teachers, everybody, and keep the communication high. Anytime that you have a chance to do a quick, 2-minute chat with your leaders throughout the week, take advantage of that, right? If you walk into your lobby, there's no parents in there, but your director's at the front desk getting ready to do pickup time, connect, build rapport, invest into that relationship. We always talk about, it's like you have to think about relationships like a bank account, right? The more deposits that you make, the longer that relationship lasts. So go in there, make them feel good about their position, give them that acknowledgement, and meet with them at least once a week or more as often as you can.
All right, number 13. And this one I think is actually my favorite one that's on here, is to delegate but stay engaged. So early we were talking about with the weekly team trainings, how you guys will trust your team so much and then you just go, I know that they got it. That's fantastic. But you still have to be involved. So understanding that the tasks that you are currently doing in your business, if you're doing literal tasks, you're driving a vehicle, you're the one that's answering your phones, those are tasks, right? The tasks can be delegated. Your role is for you only, right? You're there, you're the culture. You are there that is inspiring the team. You're motivating the team. You're encouraging them. So the tasks, give to somebody else. Your role is to stay focused on the mission and the vision and keep planting the seed of why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at some of the greatest companies, and I'm not going to name any names, let's not get political, but if you look at some of the greatest companies that existed and then all of a sudden they had a massive decline, oftentimes one thing that they had in common was a new CEO, right? They had new top-level leadership that took over. They were not aligned in any way with the original vision of the founders. And through that process, they made a series of decisions that slowly brought that company down. And we're seeing it. We see it a lot. You can see it in an entire country. It can go up or down. You can see it on the local level with local leadership, and you can see it in your own business. So it starts with you. Okay. So number 14, we've said this for many years. This is so important to reiterate on. Inspect what you expect, okay? When we go and do diamond visits and I walk in and I see a campus that's not super clean, that is a key indicator that you're struggling financially as well. Because if you can't keep track of the dust, you can't keep track of the dollars, my friends. You need to make sure that your place is spotless. So if you walk in there and it's like, hey, nobody's paying attention to the cleaning checklist, you know what else that's going to tell me? They're not paying attention to the kids. They're not paying attention to the parents. And then if I watch you long enough, it's because you might not be paying attention either. So inspect what you expect and raise your standards.
Yes.
Number 15.
Number 15, connect with your elementary schools. So it's part of the system to connect with your elementary schools, but as a CEO, this is a really, really important role for you to do. So yes, you can have your team members should absolutely be seen at those schools, and the leadership that is at those schools should feel comfortable with your team, but showing your face. You're the owner. How can you serve? How can you support the school? How can you just show that you actually genuinely care? You're not just there to enroll a bunch of kids. You're there because you actually care about the school. You care about the well-being of the kids. You care about the well-being of the school. So showing up and having those connections is something that is a vital part of your role as a CEO.
Yeah, and showing up in person. I mean, we can't discredit that.
Right.
Like, it's so important to show up in person. If you get into the habit of just trying to email everybody instead of actually investing in a real relationship, you're hurting yourself. And I want to give a shout out to Shauna Pearson, right? She's one of our newer members, first-year member, owns a dance studio. She's had massive breakthroughs in forward movement in progress with relationships with schools. Where previously they were a little bit standoffish. They were kind of wondering, like, why is she coming around? What is her motive? And then when they realize, like, she's just there to serve and host awesome parents' night outs and donate all the money back, guess what? The moment she started posting those big, giant pictures of checks standing next to a principal and a PTA member, all the other schools, they started seeing those pictures and they're like, hey, we're over here. Don't forget about us. Remember we talked a few months ago and we kind of, basically told you to leave, but we want you to come back now because you got money.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, money talks, my friends. When you can go have a parents' night out and you give them $1,000 or $2,000, man, they want to be part of what you're up to.
Yeah. And look, and before we go on to the next one here, I do want to just take a second and dispel, because I'm sure there's like little voice syndrome, right? That LVS that's creeping in right now. But Duane and Lauren, you don't know my schools.
You're right. We might not have been to your school, but we know the schools of 500 plus members that have done this system.
My schools have a gate and a locked door.
And a buzzer.
And there's a camera, and they want you to talk to them through the camera. Cool. You can start the relationship online, right? You're connected. Again, just follow the system. I love you guys. Just follow the system. Find them on social media, connect with them on social media. They're going to start seeing your post. If you're doing all of these things, you're showcasing how you're a community leader. They start seeing it. Then when you do actually show up, they're like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah. Open the gate.
Right.
Open the gate.
This is where it ties in with your personal brand on your page. When they see you for like 90 days straight, posting all these awesome things that you're doing in your life, you're helping out the community, you're serving with local organizations, you're hosting birthday parties, you're sharing parent testimonials, you have pictures of you and your family, you're doing all these things, you become somebody who's safe. Right now, they have their guard up high because they think that you are some marketer that only cares about sending home flyers with their kids. Before you know it, once you're deemed safe and you're deemed a partner, a friendly partner, they're going to ask you to bring flyers. That's the difference. How many of you guys have experienced that where you've seen, type yes in the chat section, if you've seen a shift in one or more of your elementary schools, whether it was a principal, PTO, PTA board, whoever it was, where they finally were like, oh, we do want to start working with you. And then now they're opening up the doors for all these opportunities. Look at all these yeses that are coming in, my friends. This is huge. All right. Number 16, be willing to jump in. I can't reiterate this one enough. Right?
Yeah.
As an owner, we would sit there, we'd roll up our sleeves, we would jump in. If I had to drive a bus one day or a van or clean something or paint something, like, let's go. I'm going to show my team that I'm there with them. I can't tell you how many times we'll see a post in the group that's like, we're short-staffed by one person today. What do I do? Go in.
Are you awake right now?
Like,
go do
it's
the
your
thing.
business.
Go do the thing. And look,
It blows my mind.
so this is okay. So really quickly, and I know that this is kind of a weird one.
Like, hold on. Are you just going to let all of your martial art kids just show up and stand on the floor if one of your instructor calls out and you're not going to go sub? Like, get in there, guys.
Yeah, but you should want to help out your team. So, raise your hand or whatever. Just type yes. Have you seen the movie The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston?
Oh gosh.
Okay, I'm gonna go there. Okay. Listen, there's a scene at the very beginning where she's like frustrated and she's like, I'm going to go do the dishes. And he's like going to go play video game. And he's like, and she goes, I want you to want to do the dishes. And he's like, why would anyone want to do the dishes? And it's like, you're missing the whole point. The point is you know that doing the dishes is going to help me. And because you love me, you should want to help me. If you love your business, you love your students, you love the families, you love your community, you should want to jump in and help when needed. Now, I will say this, little disclaimer, that doesn't become the habit, right? Just because you have to jump in for that day to hey, there's a leak coming in and I got to jump in, I got to mop up the floor real quick. That doesn't mean that you're going to do that forever, right? That means that there's something that needs help right now, that needs attention right now. And because you love what you do, you jump in.
Absolutely.
As a CEO.
Number 17, constantly develop yourself and your skills. This is easy when you think about, let's get on the mats and train. Let's go to the gym and work out. Let's get physically active. We can all relate to that. But then I have to ask you, how many books have you read this year? Or another question would be, how many times have you read the same book more than once that was impactful?
Yes.
Okay. How many events do you plan on going to this year? Speaking of events, we have the advanced course,
yes,
October the 11th and 12th. Put that in your notes. How many events are you going to each year? How many, YouTube videos are you watching that are actually informative instead of complacent? We're not here to just waste time. We're here to build a foundation that can build an empire, so then you can step back. Then you can enjoy all of the success. But too many people, they enjoy their success prematurely. It's like they'll get the ball rolling, they'll get that success curve going up, we're getting all these students and everybody's good, but we start failing to do everything on this checklist that we're sharing, and then the results go down, and then they go back up because you buckle down and you try to get serious again, and then they go back down. So it's like, let's just stay consistent. You got to develop yourself. All right, number 18.
Number 18, celebrate the kids publicly. So again, as parents, we love when our kids get acknowledged, and it's not just us acknowledging them, but like if the school acknowledges them, their gymnastics school acknowledges them, their jiu-jitsu school acknowledges them, wrestling, whatever it is that they're doing, right? It makes us as parents feel good. And then you know what we want to do? We want to tell everybody about it. We want to tell everybody about their place that they go. We want to share the post. So anytime you have an opportunity to showcase and feature a kid, do it.
Absolutely. And in a few moments, we're actually going to show you a Facebook page and a Facebook group that does a really good job of acknowledging kids. So I want you to take notes on that. Okay, number 19, this one's easy. Maintain a high online reputation. So we want to showcase the social proof of why you guys are the best, right? So in just a few minutes, when we start auditing these pages, I want you to start to look for things like reviews, testimonials, not only from parents, but from kids, from staff members, asking local school leaders for testimonials, right? So I just want to plant this seed. You guys do a really, really great job of going in and doing a parents' night out with a local elementary school, and you're collecting that money. You're giving it back to the school. You show up with a big check. You take the photo. That photo is fantastic. But did you bring someone with you to film the whole thing live? Like, I would go on my Facebook group live and be like, hey, we're behind the scenes at Northwest Elementary. We've got this giant check right here. It's $2,000 that we're giving back to the school. Come with us as we go in and present it to them. And just have somebody follow you around with a camera. You have team members that can do this, right? And then one step further. Did you get a video testimonial from the principal? Did you get a video testimonial from the parent of the PTA board that's there? When you get those things, they are worth their weight in gold. Speaking of gold, I want to read a quote that Eric Myers just posted here. He said, silver and gold, talking about, placements. Silver and gold don't always bring wisdom, but wisdom always brings the gold and the silver. And that's a quote by Myron Golden, who's actually right around the corner from us.
He is.
Manny knows him very well as well. All right, so number 19, high online reputation. The way to do that is you got to showcase the good stuff that you're up to. You got to ask for those reviews. I mean, you got to just go straight up for it. All right, and then number 20, practice what you preach.
Yes. So examples of this. If your team is not supposed to have their phones out, you don't have your phone out. Now, I will say, unless you're like intentionally filming content or something like that, that's different. But you're not just walking around like this.
Yeah, if you're at your school, you should be there to serve and create relationships.
Yep.
With the people that are right there in front of you. And I'm talking to owners right now. One of the things that we notice, and this is not in any way disparaging to where my kids train in jiu-jitsu, but optics are important, right? Everybody, you might want to write this down. Perception is reality, right? Perception is reality. So when we walk into our jiu-jitsu school, if it's before class, we oftentimes will see the instructor sitting across the floor, and he's either on his phone or he's looking at something, right? Now, we know that he's reviewing the class plan.
Right.
Like, we know that.
Right.
Because he'll come up and he'll show the class plan and ask us, if the kids are working on this stuff at home. Like, we know what he's doing, but we're already members.
Right.
It's the brand new people that come in that don't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like he's not really paying attention to the kids before class. He's not there to greet the parents. He's not there to do that. So if I were to give a 1% improvement to them, it would be, head up, focused on the people that are walking the door, saying hello and greeting them. Maybe get there 10 minutes early, do the class plan before, but not right before the class, right?
Yeah. It's funny. So the first time that we went there, before the kids took class, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want the kids to be in this class. Now I love it because I'm like, he's just a no-nonsense instructor, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and plus we recognize skill.
Right. We do recognize
skill. We know that
skill.
He's good.
Right. He's very good. But it's just funny, though, because he was like, oh, yeah, you can do that class. You could do, all right, let's, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
and so that's that's such a good point, right? We were able to recognize the skill, so we knew that we were in a good place and it has a good reputation.
Right.
But what if we had no idea what we were looking at?
Yeah. Yep.
As an uneducated parent, which most of the parents in your program are uneducated on the sport that you provide.
Yep.
They don't know what you're up to.
Yeah.
So get off the phones, get your chin up. Coach Sydney Faith, what's up, Coach Sydney Faith? She says, remember the 3-second rule, right? If somebody walks in, we've been teaching this for years. You have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Hey, how's it going? And if you're in the middle of a conversation, like I'm having a conversation with Super Chris and Lauren walks in, hey, 1 sec. Hey, I'll be with you in just a second, okay?
Okay.
All right, back to you. And they have to get that acknowledgement within 3 seconds.
Yep.
All right, cool?
Awesome.
Okay,